Show podcast. Ben and Landon back at it. A little bit different than we normally do. Probably sound a little bit different. Landon, you're on your phone right now because you were at your in-laws' house expecting a baby.
I am recording this on my phone, sitting on the floor of my in-laws' bedroom. That's where we're at.
Listen,
that's where life has brought me, Ben.
You're doing what you got to do, though.
Yeah, doing what we got to do, but we got to talk some football. So
yeah. There's conference championships to get
that.
into. Only 2 games to break down. There's a lot to talk about in those games, so let's just jump straight to it. The Patriots defeat the Broncos in an absolute barn burner of a game, 10-7.
Good gracious. Yeah.
This one, I did not have fun watching this game. Did you?
No, I mean, it was brutal for, honestly, major stretches. And, yeah, I mean, we can start on the Denver side. I did not think Sean Payton would go into this game with as much confidence in Stidham as he did. Like, he called plays, especially early, maybe not so much late when the weather kicked in. But early, he was calling plays as if there was no drop-off, as if he had his guy, and he was trusting Stidham. I think we saw probably a little too much.
Yeah, we saw too much. Now, Stidham was able to hit Mims on that big play early and threw the nice touchdown as well to, I think that was Sutton. Not 100% sure. But, I mean,
Sutton caught the touchdown. Yeah.
He looked good on that drive, but after that, it was... I mean, it was backup quarterback play. What else are you looking for? I mean, that's just what it was.
And it was always going to be tough on him because, man, Vrabel, every single game this postseason, he has found a weakness in the opposing team's offense, and he's just exploited it. And this one, he just said, we are not going to let you run the football. No matter what. If you beat us over the top, oh well. And Stidham did. To be fair, Stidham did. On that second drive, he did beat him over the top, and they scored a touchdown. Outside of that, Vrabel just said, you're not going to be able to run it. I mean, R.J. Harvey, 13 carries, 37 yards. Jaleel McLaughlin, 4 carries, 11 yards. I mean, and then Tyler Batty only had 1 carry. But he just said, you're not running the ball. And, you know, that's kind of been Denver's thing this postseason. They haven't ran the ball very effectively. And he said, I'm going to see how much Sean Payton's going to put the ball in Jarrett Stidham's hands. And Sean Payton, I kind of like it, but I think it may have cost him the game, he said, look, Jared, drop back, throw it 30 times in the snow. I don't care. That's what we're going to do. And, and it obviously didn't work out for him. The big play, of course, what everyone is going to point to is the 4th down in the second quarter.
Yeah.
The 4th and 1. From, I don't even remember where it was. It was like a 45-yard field goal. So
they were on like their own 10 or 15.
7?
Something like that. I think they were in the red zone, I thought.
I think it was a little outside. But anyways, that's what everybody's going to point to. And I think, oddly, at that point, they had this was their 4th drive. And on one of the drives, Jarrett Stidham has a big play and throws a touchdown. So that's a good drive. And then on this drive, they had kind of marched down the field and they had gotten wherever they were. I think it was a little outside the 20. And Sean Payton, I think at that point, had a lot of faith in Jarrett Stidham to pick up the first down. Obviously, he calls the play. He puts the ball in his hand, right? He doesn't run the ball. He puts it in his hand. I think if that situation comes about 2 drives later, I think Sean Payton makes a different decision. I think how well Stidham had played to that point, which wasn't great, but he had played fine enough.
Yeah.
I think Sean Payton at that point thought, I can trust this guy to pick up a 4th and 1. I think if 2 more drives have gone by and, you know, he had seen him struggle a little more, I think he probably takes the points, which obviously in a game like this would have been the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand from that perspective why he did it, but I guess my overarching thought would be I don't really care how well my backup quarterback's playing against a tough defense. I just want the points. If I can go up 2 scores, I'm going to do that because my defense, credit to the defense, they stopped. I mean, let's look at New England's first 4 drives: punt, 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 2 plays, 12-yard touchdown, punt, missed field goal.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the fumble here in a second, but the defense did not give up a drive in the first half to New England.
No.
Not one single one. So just don't look a gift horse in the mouth sometimes. Just take the points. And obviously the fumble probably cost them the game as well. But you can look at point to it and said if you just take the points there, at minimum you're going to overtime with New England. And instead, look, I don't care how much faith you've got in your backup. I just want the points. That's all I want.
Yeah, so a couple things on that 4th down decision. One, if you'll remember, we talked about in the preview how they might get J.K. Dobbins back. And what did we say was going to be the big advantage in getting J.K. Dobbins back if they could get him? Short yardage. They didn't get him back. And R.J. Harvey has shown he has skills for this league. He showed it in this game with a couple of the catches and a couple of the broken tackles, which were big for them. But the 4th and 1 has not been his skill set. He's been pretty good in the red zone, but a lot of those have been schemed touchdowns and things like that. He's not a give me the ball, I can get you 1 yard. That's not been his game, and they didn't have that pitch. I think if J.K. Dobbins is playing in this game, that play might have just gone to him.
Yeah, and I think that probably.
I think it might have been just J.K. Dobbins up the middle
too.
They didn't have that opportunity, and obviously they run that little sprint right, trying to hit Harvey in the flat, which is his game, which Harvey can do. But it just looked like, New England knew it was coming. Like Harvey was double covered. 2 guys were all over Stidham. I mean, it seemed like they knew the exact play that was coming. And credit to Vrabel for calling it up. I assume he calls plays on defense. I actually don't know that. I keep giving him credit. I actually don't know if he calls plays. I just know he's a defensive guy.
The New England coaching staff, but
yeah, credit to them for stopping that one. And the other part of it is I don't know how these coaches, I don't know how they think about the weather. I don't know if they knew going in, hey man, come 4:30 or whatever time it is, it's going to be snow and it's going to be incredibly difficult to score points. I think if Sean Payton would have had that in the back of his mind, that man, once this snow comes in, nobody's moving the ball. I think he would have probably taken the points there. Just say, give me a 10-point lead, and we'll see what happens from here on. But I usually don't fault coaches for just trusting their quarterback, but that's when you have, a guy you really can trust. And, obviously Jared Stidham, he was not that in this game.
No,
unfortunate.
And I think it's safe to say, obviously it would be a different game, but if Bo Nix plays this game, they win. Just plain and simple. I think they were better than the Patriots on Sunday. I really do.
They certainly. Every single Denver Broncos fan can say that, and you can't argue with the if Bo Nix plays, we win take. I mean, do I think it's certain? No, probably not. But you can't argue if someone says that.
But when you've got the quarterback you trust more, I think they put up more than 7 points with Bo Nix.
So let's talk about the fumble then, because this is what lost the game.
Yeah, for sure.
The Jared Stidham fumble, I just want to show exactly what happened on this play. Ben, he took the snap at the 33 and he ran backwards 20 yards and threw this, what he thought was a forward pass, little shovel pass, and they recovered it at the 12.
Yeah.
He took the snap at the 33.
Yeah.
And just ran backwards. And obviously they shouldn't have blown the play dead, because obviously they would have, would have had a touchdown or whatever. Ended up not mattering. But that play, if he doesn't do that, they win. If he just takes the sack and they punt, I think they win the game.
Yeah. No, I fully, you can, I don't ever want to lay the feet of a loss at the foot of a backup quarterback, but if he doesn't do that, they win this game most likely, because New England,
dude, they might win it 7.
New England did not move the ball on them.
Yeah.
In the first half or
They
the second
literally
half.
might win the game 7-3 if he doesn't do. I mean, Ben, he ran backwards 20 yards, and it just that has to. I mean that is something that Sean Payton and Stidham, for that matter, but he's a backup. That is something Sean Payton will. I mean that'll go with him the rest of his career, the rest of his life. That play right there, it cost them a chance at the Super Bowl. I know what happened in the second quarter, but
I mean,
if you look at what New England
bonehead play too. Like, just why? What was your thought process in doing that?
Yeah, if you would have told before the snap, if you would have told Denver, hey man, you get a 15-yard sack here, that would have been an atrocious outcome, right? But they probably win the game if that happens. You run 20 yards backwards, yeah, and give them the ball. That in a game like this, they scored 10 points, Ben. They scored 10 points, and
you gifted them
7 of them were basically handed to them. And we talked about it. We were like, Stidham in this game with this defense, with this weather, all he has to do is not do something ridiculous. And he did, man. It's so unfortunate. I hate it for him, but I mean, you're a backup. You're in the AFC Championship. It's not going to be easy, especially against a good defense. Not a all-time defense. Now, they look like an all-time defense in this playoffs, but a good defense. And that's one of the more unfortunate plays I remember in the playoffs in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it for Broncos fans because genuinely, I do think they were the better team on Sunday. They didn't have the better quarterback.
Yep.
And we'll talk about Drake Maye in a minute, but like, it wasn't both of these teams combined didn't get to 400 yards. There was 380 total yards of offense in this game. So
yeah,
I mean, they outplayed them, and the mistakes have killed every single team in this playoff. It's always the team that makes a crucial mistake. You can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so after the weather rolls in, right? The weather rolls in. I believe at that time it was 7-7 when it really got bad, and they had one more chance. If you'll remember, they had one more chance. The New England punter completely shanked the punt.
Yeah.
Shanked it.
Yeah.
They got the ball. At this point, it was 7-10. New England. It was the final score was 10-7. This was the score at this point. 7 minutes left. They get the ball at their 33. There's 33. That's your chance. You're not going to get a touchdown. They were not moving the ball at all. But all you have to do is kick a field goal on first down. Honestly, if they would have kicked a field goal on first down, that would have been a good possession. They pick up a few yards and then they get the field goal blocked, and that was the game. When the field goal got blocked, you knew there's no chance they get the ball inside their territory again. No chance. And they didn't.
You were never going to drive the ball on New England with this weather and with a backup quarterback. No. It was not in the cards.
No. And so it was a yucky game. It was a nasty game. And it's crazy to say this, but honestly, if Jared Stidham just takes a 15-yard sack instead of a 20-yard give the ball to them, I truly believe Denver probably wins 7-3.
Yeah,
that's honestly what I believe.
Because it was the second half when the weather started, and New England didn't move the ball. Their longest drive in the second half was now granted, this was the third quarter. It was still
got the field goal.
It was still not terrible. They had the field goal, and they drove 51 yards and missed another field goal. But after that, it was 10 yards, -1 yards, 1 yard, 14 yards.
Yep. So this game, I went through it this morning. There were 3 first downs in the fourth quarter combined, both teams. 3 first downs in the fourth quarter once that weather set in. So it was basically whatever the score early in the third quarter was going to be the score at the end of the game, and it's just unfortunate. It's really unfortunate for Denver fans because they have a legit claim. You can never prove it, but they have a legit claim. If Bo Nix plays, we win. And it's unfortunate they didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah, I hate them. I hate them. I hate it for them. And The only thing I will say that's going to be annoying is they're always going to sit here and try to claim that Super Bowl, which they have a claim on this game. They don't have a claim on the Super Bowl, but
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit in the Super Bowl preview episode. But yeah, it sucks for Denver. But I think we can move over and talk about New England a little bit.
yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I've got less positive things than I should about New England. I don't know about you. I want to start with Vrabel for a couple different reasons. First,
Yep.
I want to give him his props, like you did a minute ago. He's got to be up for Coach of the Year because this roster wasn't supposed to be where it is, and yet here they are in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, this is the most I think I've ever seen a team have to prove going into the Super Bowl, if that makes sense. Because you talk about him being able to find weaknesses in his coaching staff in these opposing offenses, but I could have found those weaknesses if that like I knew going into the Chargers game, it's going to be easy to get pressure on Justin Herbert. Oh, we know what we need to do against C.J. Stroud. Like it's not that difficult. Oh, we know how we're going to beat Jared Stidham. So credit to him for finding the weaknesses, but they were very glaring, obvious weaknesses that are very easy to take advantage of.
So I'll reiterate the first weakness, the weakness in the Chargers game. I don't think what he saw that changed that game was the offensive line. I think he knew the offensive line was bad, but early in the game, he wasn't sending a lot of pressure. I think once he realized the receivers couldn't get open, that's when he just said, I'm going to blitz every play. We don't need these extra guys in coverage because they can't get open anyway. And that's when that game changed. That's when the game was over at that point. So I'll give him a little credit there. The Stroud one, he just threw the ball to him basically. And then obviously this was a backup quarterback. So maybe I'm giving him a little too much credit these last two games, but if you look on paper, man, this looks like, this is going to look like one of the great defensive playoff runs ever. As long as, they don't give up 40 in the Super Bowl or something, which might be possible.
Statistically, it is.
Yeah.
But you cannot sit here and say and claim that it is without looking at the full picture. And I get it. It's like a similar vein to the Josh Allen argument we're going to say, because like in 2 years, 3 years, they're going to look at back and be like, oh, shoot, that was a great run the Patriots had. And the same thing is like Josh Allen, and we're like, oh, well, he never did this or that. I'm like, okay, but I knew what I saw and the storylines going into it. Like, that's what this is. So,
yeah. Yep. And I said it. I said it last week. We talk about, everybody's going to talk about the strength of schedule and the playoff route, right? Because
I think it should be talked about.
Super Bowl runs go,
it should be talked about.
As far as Super Bowl runs go, this truly it may be the easiest I remember. But as far as how their strength of schedule is going to affect them this year, it just doesn't matter because they've already got there. Like they literally have not really gotten super tested. They were tested in this game, but a backup quarterback gave them the game. So what I'm saying is it just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Mike Vrabel, first year in New England, Super Bowl. Drake Maye, second year as a starter, Super Bowl. And it really doesn't matter what the path looks like. It matters in our minds, but on the stat sheet in the record books, it's just not going to matter.
Yeah.
Crazy enough as it is to say it.
Yeah, and I hate that, and it's gonna, and I hate that it probably, at least for the time being, will stain kind of Drake Maye's intermediate legacy. If I guess we'll see obviously how he ends up career wise, but for the intermediate, everybody's gonna say he got to a Super Bowl and he played none of the Titans, so people are gonna hold that against him. And he's had an incredible season, so I don't want to see that held against him, if that makes sense.
Right.
But he also has not played great in this playoff. He has yet to impress me in this playoff.
Yeah. So a couple things can be true. So we'll talk overall playoffs, but I want to give him props where he's due for this game. Yet again, for the second time in these playoffs, against the Chargers and in this game, this was the case. Their only offense was his legs. That's all they had. I mean, all their biggest plays were Drake with his legs. I thought the quarterback draw call, the one they scored on, I thought that was a fantastic call. I thought that was as soon as I saw it, I could kind of tell the way he took his first step back. I was like, oh, this is a draw. Oh, that's a touchdown. And it was a walk-in, obviously, right? And the other place where, if you've listened to this podcast, what am I going to give him credit for that he didn't do in this game?
Over.
He didn't turn it over. Now, he put up, 200 yards of offense and 10 points, and 7 of them came when they got the ball at the 12. So it was not explosive. But I think he realized in the second half, and I text this to you guys, if you punt, you win. Period. Like, once they were up 10-7, all he had to do was punt. If every drive ended with a punt, they were going to win. And it did. And so I'll give him credit there. With that said, he has not been impressive in these playoffs. And I'm a Drake Maye guy. He is not exactly put a ton of – I haven't seen a lot to say he's going to go out there and light up the Seahawks defense is what I'm trying to say. He has not shown that ability in these playoffs.
And I'd send it back to what I said just a minute ago, to where this is the most I think a Super Bowl team has ever had to prove in maybe ever.
Yeah.
Because you're going into the Super Bowl somehow with very little experience, very little having actually been tested. And I can't remember the exact stat, but it was something like first time ever, like quarterback wins the playoff, or maybe it's just the AFC Championship with less than like 90 yards passing. So I get it. Credit to them. You can pick on the schedule all you want. You can pick on the path, but they did take advantage of it, as you should. But at the same time, I think we'll talk about the Seahawks in a second, but they're rolling up against probably the best team in the playoffs. And I mean, they're going to have to be careful if they don't want to. And I think they're maybe a little bit better. I don't even know what the word is, but they have to avoid the Super Bowl from last year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They could be staring out that same situation to where it's not a Drake Maye or Mike Vrabel fault, but the other team's just better than you, and you're not tested.
And people are going to, if they go out there and lose by 30 in the Super Bowl, people are really going to say, like, oh, it was only the path. It was just because they didn't play anybody. But I think if they go out there, and especially if they win the Super Bowl, but even if they're competitive, maybe they lose by 3 or lose by 1 score, I think people will give them retroactively more credit for the path they took to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Like, I think if they go out there and it's a really good game, people won't care about the path as much. But if they get out there and get blasted, then people are going to be like, oh, they shouldn't have been there, blah, blah, blah. The AFC was so weak, whatever the case is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, and maybe we'll talk about this more in a preview episode if we get to it next week, but this was the scarier, I think, and this feels weird to say, but I would rather have faced the Rams, and obviously you don't want to face Matthew Stafford in a situation like that, but the Rams defense was not very impressive through the playoffs, and granted, in defense of Drake Maye, they've played some very, very, very tough defenses. The Chargers defense is good. The Texans defense is good. The Broncos defense is good. And Seattle's defense might be better than all of those. So he has not looked good against these elite defenses, and now he might be going up against the best one. So I think I would rather have faced the Rams if I'm Drake Maye.
Yeah, I can see that. Could you imagine if the Rams had won yesterday, but like Stafford got hurt on one of the last plays?
Oh my gosh, dude.
And they were playing the Rams with Jimmy G in the Super Bowl.
Golly, dude.
People would have lost. I mean, there would have been a major asterisk on that. But the last thing I want to point out here, because it has something to do with both these teams, and it might be a little bit Homer fan of me, but this quarterback class from last year, 2024 quarterback class.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Drake has made a Super Bowl. Caleb made a divisional round and looked pretty good. Bo Nix got a 1 seed and made a conference championship, and Jaden did that as a rookie last year. So I mean, this class they've established themselves. I think all of these guys are like at least second contract guys, where I'm not ready to say any of them are elite, really. I'm not ready to say, they're top in the league or whatever, but I think they're all like 2 contract guys, which 4 rookies that get a second contract on a team is a lot for one class. And that's not even mention, what Penix or McCarthy could turn into.
Yeah, no, Atlanta has found a way to find the bust in there, and Minnesota definitely found the bust in there. So we'll see how that ends up for them. But feels like a good transition point to head over to the NFC Conference Championship. And after the mess of the AFC Conference Championship, we were treated to one of the best games I've ever seen. I think I saw this as a joke on Twitter, but I'd be okay with it. Is after the AFC Conference Championship, the NFL has made a stunning rule change and is just going to make the Super Bowl a best-of-3 series with the Seahawks and Rams.
That would be...
I'd watch it.
Well, right now, Seahawks are up, 2-1 on the season, but just 2 things real quick about this game. One, these are the best 2 teams, period. Like, am I guaranteeing the Seahawks are going to beat the Patriots? No, I'm not guaranteeing it, but these are the best 2 teams. It would be, to me, a pretty sizable upset for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl because of what the Seahawks have. And before we actually break down the nuts and bolts of the game, let me just read you one stat, Ben. QBRs for these 2 quarterbacks in this game, their quarterback ratings, or passer ratings, excuse me. Sam Darnold, 127.8. Matthew Stafford, 127.6. That's what we witnessed yesterday. Unbelievable. And they played each other. You could argue one played better. Whatever. They played each other to a draw. 127.8 to 127.6 is, I don't know if you'll see that again. 2 quarterback ratings that high on, that even. I mean, you'd have to go back to like a, 2016 Big 12 game to find that. So,
I mean, somehow this feels like an Allen Mahomes rematch of 13 seconds, but better somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it had everything, man. It had everything. So, and I think we start on the Rams side.
Yeah, and I want to give props to Matthew Stafford for how he played, and I'm not blaming him whatsoever in this one. Like, what can you point to where Stafford lost this game? No, he didn't.
So there was a couple moments that I don't put it on him. I put it on like him and McVay because they're both so smart. They're both so in control. Like it's kind of on them, and we'll talk about those. But I'm going to read you this stat I sent in the chat. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to lose a game where he threw for 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, didn't turn it over, and took less than 1 sack. He's the first quarterback to ever lose a game like that, or also average 10 yards per pass attempt. He's the first quarterback to ever lose that, not in the playoffs, in the history of the league, playoffs or regular season.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable what he did yesterday. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and you had, and the stars showed out too. Devontae Adams looked unguardable at times. Puka Nacua was typical Puka Nacua himself. He was unbelievable. So this was a duel of a century that we just saw.
Yeah, Kyron was good. Not great, but Kyron was good. So
Blake Corum looked good when he's running the ball.
Yeah. So just another 2 good things, and then there's 2 places they lost the game. So the good thing again, didn't turn it over. Like it's that simple. You don't turn it over, you win. And I think, how many penalties did they have? I only remember
the Rams did not have many penalties. They only had like 3, I think.
They had an encroachment. They had the very last hold on Cooper Kupp, and they may have had one other one.
They had 4 for 30.
4 for 30. Okay, so they had 4. But so that's great. Don't turn it over. You don't have a lot of penalties. That's how you win games. But there's two specific things that lost them this game. Well, really three, but two major ones. Where you can, where you do have a bone to pick, their end of the first half was something that can't happen with a veteran quarterback and a coach with this much experience.
I'll give you that.
And Brady was on this call, man. They get the ball. Let me see if I can find it. They score a touchdown with a minute 55 left. That's the Kyron touchdown. With a minute 55 left in the first half to go up 13-10, right? Then Seattle has a 22-second drive. 22 seconds. And they get the ball back, a minute 33 left, and Tom Brady was on this. He was like, they just got a gift in that Seattle drive. At worst, this half needs to end 13-10. Like at minimum, just run the clock out. You're obviously trying to score. You're trying to get a field goal or probably even a touchdown. But you cannot let Seattle score in this drive.
Especially knowing that Seattle got the ball to start the second half too.
Yes, knowing that they had a chance to double dip. And they have a 39-second drive. Seattle gets it back with 54 seconds, and they march right down the field and get a touchdown. And let me just read you these plays, Ben. Here's how the Seattle drive to score a touchdown at the end of the half went. JSN, incompletion. JSN, dump down to the running back. Incompletion to JSN, touchdown to JSN. That was that drive. And 17-13, and that completely changed the game right there.
I mean, that's like similar to Cooper Kupp when he had his miraculous season, his 2022 season Triple Crown. It was like, is there another player on the roster they can go to?
Right, yeah. But, I mean, they didn't need it.
Exactly.
JSN was cooking in that first half. And they also had some big plays in the second half, too, but especially the first half. He just took over.
No, he was this was one of the best games I've seen. I mean, you look at the quarterback duel, but also the receiver duel. JSN versus Puka was spectacular.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that was the first place where they really almost lost the game right there. 17-13 versus 13-10 is a huge difference going into the half. But then we get the big one.
Yeah, I mean, this one.
Coming out of halftime, they actually stop them. So the Seahawks are not going to double dip there. They're not going to get points at the end of the first and second because they stop them. But then the Rams' Achilles heel all season kicked in.
Special teams.
And they muffed the punt. Their Achilles heel all season has been special teams. Obviously, I don't remember the kid's first name, but Smith, he misses it. Seattle picks it up, and that's when we get the Bobo touchdown. And it's all of a sudden it went from 13-10 to 24-13, just like that.
Yep. And then and then this starts probably the best part of the game where the Rams, come back, score.
Oh yeah.
Make it a one possession game, so you feel a little bit better. And then the most impressive one was when Sam Darnold is able to answer that. That was when I was like, because I was still, I mean, both of us probably were still like, dude, I mean, the Rams, all this needs to do is stay close, and let's see if the Seahawks and Sam Darnold get tight. And they didn't. They marched right down the field and answer that touchdown and go up 31-20.
Right. Yeah. So you get the Devontae Adams touchdown, and then that was, you're exactly right. If the Seahawks don't score there, I'm not guaranteeing they lose, but things get real tight. Real tight if the Rams have the ball down 4. Right? But instead, Sam Darnold, he has a huge, if you remember, he had a huge 3rd and 9 to start that. They almost went 3 and out. And he picks up a huge 3rd and 9 to Cooper Kupp. And, dude, they march down the field and they get the Cooper Kupp touchdown. And that's the biggest moment of his career right there. That Cooper Kupp touchdown is the best moment of Sam Darnold's career, and it's not even close.
Easily. This was
not even close.
I mean, not even close to the best game of his career. Probably statistical wise, moment wise, it had everything. And truly, this was I mentioned it in, what's at stake for our quarterbacks in our preview episode. This was a narrative breaker for Sam Darnold.
Oh, dude. And
The
when we get to
narrative,
the
the narrative's
Seahawks,
over. He shattered it.
yeah, when we get to the Seahawks, we're going to talk a lot about Darnold. But I kind of want to keep recapping a little bit because
Yeah.
it got even crazier
Go
from
ahead.
there. Because at that point, Seattle was up 31-20, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when we get the Seahawks get off the field, and then we get the taunting penalty
That's
right into the Puka touchdown. That was
unacceptable.
when that happened. So what was your thoughts on that taunting penalty?
So I don't have a problem with the taunting penalty itself. My problem comes up when like they have the taunting penalty and they get the touchdown, and that's ridiculous. Like for Tariq Woolen to either get the taunting on third down and then give up the touchdown. But then like the next drive, the Rams get a sack and the guy starts like just pumping and dancing like right in front of Sam Darnold and doing all that stuff, and they just let that walk. So it just like what I don't know what Tariq Woolen said. Maybe it was what he said, but like jawing just happens. So I don't have a problem if you're gonna call the penalty, but call it for both sides too. Don't just call it for Seattle when you want to call it.
Yeah. So the Tariq Woolen one, I do get it. I wouldn't have called the penalty on Woolen there, but I do get, if he's going after the sideline, depending on what he said, there are rules of, you can't go at the opposing team's bench. You can't go at coaches. Like there are things you can't do. So I understand it. The dancing one on the sack later on for the Rams, I didn't have a problem with it because dance motions don't bother me. I mean, I know the Key and Peele sketch about the pumping. I don't know if that's actually a rule. Is that actually a rule? The pumping thing?
I don't think it's actually a rule. It felt like you call him spitting at the opposing team, and I get that. It wasn't like legitimate spitting, but like you want to jaw. He just made a big play against Puka or whatever. I'm fine with that, and I'm fine with a penalty. I just you sit there and dance right in front of the quarterback after you sack him in midfield. I'm like, so that's considered respectful, but like, just trash talking the other team isn't. So I don't. Where's the line? I guess in my head.
Yeah. Well, regardless, the Woolen penalty. I mean, that is as big
it's stupid
of a
on Woolen
penalty.
regardless. Stupid on Woolen regardless.
That is as big. You just can't do it. I mean, that's as big of a penalty as you'll see. I mean, honestly, like you gifted them 7 points in a game where you're up 11 late in the third quarter. Like you gifted them those 7 points. But anyways, they score with Puka like towards the end of the third quarter. I think it's like 3 minutes. And the crazy part is, Ben, that's the last score of the game. Now, the rest of the game was awesome. But I think there was like 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
That's hard to
There
believe.
was no more scoring.
That they were playing that well, and that was the end.
Yeah, that was the end. But, I mean, the game came down to, and we're going to get to the Seahawks later, but just on the Rams side, the game winds up coming down, right, they have it 3rd and 4 on their own 6 with about 5 minutes left, right? This is the game right here. You're down 4, Rams have the ball, 3rd and 4. They had just gone, I mean, they went on like a 7-minute drive or something, like maybe 8 minutes. I mean, a crazy drive. They get all the way down here. Stafford has the big pickup on 4th and 1 with his legs where he kind of trucked DeMarcus Lawrence, honestly, to pick up the 4th and 1.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and they get down here and they go incompletion, and I think this moment when Stafford calls it quits, whenever that is, when he looks back on his career, this 3rd and 4th down sequence from the 6-yard line is going to be the singular moment he would like to have back. Those 2 incompletions.
Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that.
I mean, that's the game. Like, and I listened to McVay after on the 4th down call, 4th and 4. He said it was an unfortunate blown coverage by the Seahawks. He said, like, they were trying to scheme a play to Kyron.
He missed somebody. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to scheme a play to Kyron, and McVay seemed to think this wasn't really what they were trying to do, but there was like a blown coverage where there was 2 guys covering Kyron, which that's who they were trying to get the ball to. And I think Stafford just got a little fooled. He felt pressure that wasn't there. If you go back and look at the play, he had all day. Like, he had all day to throw the ball. And Tom pointed it out. Like, they had like 7 guys up at the line. They only rushed 2. They dropped 9 in coverage. And I think Stafford felt pressure that wasn't there and got rid of it too quick. And, I mean, it wasn't the game, but it was basically the game at that point.
Yeah.
That fourth down.
Another one that was interesting, I don't think people thought it was as controversial as maybe I did, and maybe this is coming from a very biased perspective. The 3rd and 7 when Seattle got the ball after that, and he completes it to Cooper Kupp, and he rolls like over the defender on the line. They give him the first down.
Yeah.
So here's a question I've got, Landon. Why is that a completion? Because he catches it, rolls over the defender, and as he hits the ground, the ball comes out.
Yeah.
And nobody even says anything about it, and they just give him the first down. Versus Buffalo, same thing happens. Brandon Cooks catches the ball, no movement of the ball, knee hits the ground with contact, and they call that an interception.
Yeah, well,
I'm a little annoyed.
I think the Cooper Kupp one, Brandon Cooks caught the ball and came straight down. There were no steps. He didn't run at all. I think Cooper Kupp took a step or two after he had caught the ball. Like, I don't think he just caught it, hit the ground, and fumbled. He caught it, took a step, and was tackled. I think that's the difference. I think he established possession taking a step or two before he actually got tackled. I thought it was clearly a catch. I didn't know if they got the actual spot. I mean, I guess they reviewed that play, but yeah, obviously that was a big one too.
I thought the spot was fine. It was just like, I'm sitting here, okay, well, he catches it, and then immediately, it just seemed like he took a step. It seemed like the guy, like, he caught it, and then the guy grabs his leg, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think
10 years after the Dez Bryant one, and we still don't know what a catch is. So that frustrates me on the NFL terms.
That is a frustrating thing with the NFL. That's one of the biggest in-game problems with the NFL. Like, there's other problems, but like, as far as fans knowing the rules, that might be the biggest right now. But at the end of the day, I mean, Stafford played great. It was just moments. It was, on him and McVay, I put how they handled the end of the first half, and then maybe that 3rd and 4th down. Those are the only things you can look at Stafford and question at all from this game. I mean, he was absolutely sensational.
Well, when you have 2 teams that played as well as both of these teams played, and it was sensational, you have to find very small nitpicks as to where things actually went wrong, and those are it. I mean, there's the obvious glaring one. The glaring one is the punt return, for sure, or the punt fumble. But other than that, I mean, there was so many very minute issues with this game. I mean, both teams played dang near perfect.
Yeah, they did, and it sucks for the Rams. They had a great season, and I know they thought we're going to win the Super Bowl, and just, the NFC West this year was stupid. It was absolutely stupid, and props to the Rams. I think Stafford, wins the MVP, and I think an odd Stafford MVP argument is, you look at how he played, and his team still lost, versus how Drake played and his team still won. I think that kind of sheds some light on this MVP discussion. Yeah. I know it's a regular season award, but I think we kind of saw what it means to be the most valuable player in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned it a couple times with, if so-and-so happens, somebody will look real small holding the MVP trophy. I don't think Stafford, if he wins it, looks small after this.
No, I mean, 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, 128 rating, essentially. I mean, no, he was...
In a loud Seattle stadium. My gosh, it was loud.
Tough place to play, tough defense, and he did it. But enough about the Rams. Let's get to the winners. Let's lay the flowers at the feet of Sam Darnold. You started to do it earlier.
Yeah, you had to stop.
My goodness, man. You talk about a turnaround.
I mean, this is truly, as much as many flowers as I'm giving Sam Darnold, an organizational failure of the Jets in Carolina. My goodness, dude. It wasn't him at all. It wasn't him at all.
Yeah, and the Vikings. Organizational failure by the Vikings.
How do you let this guy walk out of here?
Like he's made a bunch of organizations look really stupid this weekend. I mean, he just did. And to play, he's been known as a guy who I've talked about it all year. I was out on them after I watched him in a primetime game make just ridiculous decisions this year. I've talked about that all year. I've talked all year about how he finished last season. You know, they won 14 games, but how he melted down for the 1 seed game and in the playoffs. Not only does he come out here and not melt down, not only does he not just play okay, he plays the best game of his life against a not great but good defense in the most pressure-packed situation he's ever been in. I mean, you cannot say enough good things about Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, and we mentioned it. We probably talked about this last week in a preview episode, right? Of, you know, Sam Darnold has had 6 interceptions in 2 games against the Rams, right? And we knew he would have to play. He's going to have to play a clean game if they want to win this game. And not only does he play a clean game, like I don't think they win if he doesn't have the elite performance that he just had. Like a clean game doesn't win this game. An elite performance wins this game. And he turned in maybe the performance of the year by any quarterback in this game.
Yeah. No, he was excellent. I mean, and they needed every bit of it. And the thing that stood out to me so much was, dude, they never lost faith in him. Like, so Seattle goes down. They score the first drive of the game, right? I mean, it looked easy. I mean, like a hot knife through butter. And then with 20 seconds left in the first half, they only had 10 points. Like, there was a definite lull in that first half for Seattle's offense. Like, they went cold, but they never lost faith in him. They kept putting the ball in his hands, and he delivered, man. He delivered. And
I mean,
we just talked about the
most ice in his veins game I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. We just talked about the Rams and that 3rd and 4th down. Dude, there was still like almost 5 minutes left in the game at that point. Like, they could have easily gotten the ball back. And I was shocked at how much they threw the ball. I thought, okay, the Seahawks are going to come out. They're going to be conservative. They're just going to try to pick up first downs, running the ball. And, you know, just because the quickest way to lose a game right there is to turn it over, right? So that's why teams, they just try to run the clock out, just hand it off and see what happens. That is not what Seattle did. They said, all right, Sam, pick up first downs, throw it all over the place. And he did.
I mean, he has the Cooper Cup 7-yard completion on 3rd and 7.
Right.
Like 2 plays later, 2nd down and 10, he hits JSN on the sideline for 14 yards. Absolutely. I mean, he didn't miss.
The Kenneth Walker, you know, big run after the catch play, that was a pass. Like, that was I was shocked at how much that last drive showed me how much they trust him. And dude, I don't know how if you're a Seahawks fan or a player, I don't know how you go into the Super Bowl thinking, you know, you have a quarterback you can trust to get you there at the end of the game. And the reason it was so big, how many first downs they picked up in that final drive, is because the Rams had to use all their timeouts. Like, the Rams, not only does he run clock off, the Rams got the ball back with, what was it, 25 seconds left? Yeah, like he started that drive at the 6-yard line, right? With almost 5 minutes left. He doesn't give them the ball back until 25 seconds left with no timeouts.
And he gives them the ball back when they punt it down to the 7. So the Rams have 93 yards to go in 25 seconds with no timeouts.
Yeah, because he picked up several first downs, and those are the kind of things people remember, like a game-winning drive for a Brady or a Mahomes in the last minute, right? They remember the 13 seconds game. They remember, you know, the big plays, the helmet catch, Eli to Mario Manningham. They remember all the big plays. Those are the drives that'll go forgotten. We got the ball with 5 minutes left and gave it back to him with 25 seconds left. But those are the things that get you to and win Super Bowls. And he did it, man. I can't speak highly enough of Darnold. I just can't.
No, you really can't, and give monster credit to Mike McDonald and his entire coaching staff.
Yeah.
Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Rams, he needs to
For the Seahawks.
for the Seahawks. There may need to be some tampering because Buffalo needs to make a phone call real soon about that guy.
Yeah, I would. I'd be real surprised if he is the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks in about 3 weeks. I'd be real surprised.
Yeah, not going to happen. But give them credit. Also want to give credit to Kenneth Walker. Played extremely well, I thought, in this game. Obviously, everybody knows how well JSN played. JSN was a absolute. I mean, he was unguardable.
Excellent.
And then I know the defense gave up a lot of yards to the Rams, but they had some incredible moments too. Like the Tariq Woolen penalty was stupid, but he made a great pass block on Puka on that third down.
Yep.
Also, Nicky Manwari, their rookie safety from from my University of South Carolina, my Gamecocks. I think he was targeted 3 times and he had 3 pass breakups. So he's a freak of nature. It was just a perfect game for the Rams. It really was.
And
or for the Seahawks, I'm sorry.
Credit to McDonald. That 4th and 4 we talked about, like McVay thought it was a fortunate blown coverage. Stafford was fooled. Stafford was completely fooled. They showed 7 and only rushed 2. Dropped 9. Stafford rushed it because he thought there was pressure that wasn't even there. And, that's the game, man. And so, man, what the Seahawks have done with, McDonald and Darnold, that's the dream for teams that are, they were pretty good with Geno. They were pretty good. But this is why we beg teams not to just try to be 500 every year. Because, look, being 500 is a whole lot better than winning 4 games, right?
Is it?
But taking a swing and taking a chance on a Sam Darnold, hey, you know what? Maybe we get the right coach in Sam Darnold and we make a Super Bowl. When we take big swings, they did it and they found themselves in the Super Bowl. And, man, this is the dream for your team if you have like around a 500 team. What the Seahawks have done, that's the dream. Yeah. That's absolutely the dream. So props to them, the whole organization.
And I think they, like you said, I think they have every reason to go into this thinking we should win the Super Bowl. I think this is the best team in the NFL is the Seahawks.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, they really do. And people might get mad about this. I really don't know if it's necessarily a hot take or not, but like going into last year's Super Bowl, we thought that the blowout was an option because, just 52 through 50 or 2 through 53, the Eagles were better at every spot. Than the Chiefs were. I think you could say the same thing about Seahawks Patriots. But I don't think the gap between Sam Darnold and Drake Maye, given how they've played this year and how this playoff has gone, I don't really think there's a gap.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, there is. Drake Maye's a better player, right? I don't want to be too prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that. Like, I do think Maye's better, but the gap between Mahomes and Hurts is noticeable, right? I don't know if it's that big a drop off.
No, it's not. Now the hope for the Patriots is the gap between rosters isn't as big, which it's not. So that's the hope for the Patriots. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I would have liked to see 2 different teams in the Super Bowl, but I am excited for it, and we'll obviously preview it next week some point before the big game is played. So it was a fun championship weekend, though. I mean, the first game was brutal. Second game was a 10 out of 10. So, good weekend overall.
I'll take it. And especially it being the second game, the night game, I can live with that. I will take this.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got. Hopefully the audio's not too bad with Landon recording on his cell phone. We're going to try to get a second episode out this week. We'll see how it goes, but other than that, we will see y'all in the next one. Any closing statements, Landon, or are we just ready for Super Bowl?
That's it, man. I'm ready for the Super Bowl.
All right.
That's it.
Let's get it. We'll see you guys in the next one.